With that's eukaryotes. The Our genomic DNA is not going to be one large circular chromosome. It's going to be divided up into multiple chromosomes, multiple linear chromosomes. So over the past billion years, hundreds of millions of years, however long, we have evolved through various steps and leaps and adaptations, mechanisms for the equal distribution of chromosomes. Now, keep in mind, the majority of this chapter is going to be discussing how to equally divide all of these chromosomes. You have 46 chromosomes in every one of your cells. 23 from mommy, 23 from daddy. Hence that, that company, 23andMe, the one that, will sit there, you send them a DNA sample and they'll tell you, your genealogy. That's where the name comes from, 23andMe. 23 chromosomes from mom, 23 from dad. So somehow, when a cell goes to divide, has to make copies of all 46 chromosomes and then ensure that the two new cells, are each going to get chromosome 1 from mom, chromosome 1 from dad, chromosome 2 from mom, chromosome 2 from dad, so on and so forth. Any problems with this, any unequal distribution, one cell of the two gets, 3 chromosome 1s, but only one chromosome 16. That's not going to work. And you notice the picture here. Picture there showing a bunch of different cells that have been stained with a stain that accumulates in the chromosome, the DNA material. You can see the different states the cells are in. Some are just being a cell. Some are in the middle of the steps of what we're going to see in this chapter referred to as mitosis. Now, as I stated, you have 46 total chromosomes, 23 from mom, 23 from dad. That's for us humans. All other mammals, all other animals are going to have different numbers. Plants, different numbers. 23 pairs, that's for us humans. Now, there may be other animals that may have 23 pairs. Can't think of any off the top of my head. But doesn't mean their chromosomes are exactly like ours. When you look at your body, okay, a few, terms, a few vocabulary words we have to get out of the way here. Throughout your body, the majority of the cells in your body that are not either sperm or egg are referred to as somatic cells. All somatic cells, whether it's cardiac, skin, epithelium lining your mouth, the retinal cells, rod cones in the back of your eyes, whatever, have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, which means 2 full sets, chromosomes 1 through 23. One set from mommy, one set from daddy. The exceptions to this are the gametes, sperm, egg. Sperm or egg have only 23 chromosomes, one set, one and done. That's it. As we're going to see in chapter 11, it's not a complete set from mommy, a complete set from daddy. It's a mix. You'll notice that in the textbook, and a lot of textbooks, and most all textbooks and papers, they're going to refer to the somatic cells and the gametes by the designation N, 1N, 2N. For plants, they're going to say, possibly 3N. What this N means is ploidy. How many complete sets of chromosomes are present? Somatic cells, 2N, 2 sets, 1 set from mom, 1 set from dad. Gametes, 1N, 1 full set, a mix of who it came from. And we'll talk about that in chapter 11 as So when you look at our DNA, our chromosomes, you're going to see it's not just the double helix that you've heard since you were a little kid. Turns out that DNA, while it's stable, it still can be damaged pretty easily. And that long double helix is, fragile. It can be bent, it can be broken, it could be damaged. And you've got to remember, the nucleus of a cell is quite small. So somehow you have to get almost a meter of DNA in every one of those nuclei, along with all the other proteins and RNAs and things that have to be there to maintain the nucleus, the nuclear material. So what we see, you look at the figure to the far left there, the double helix is going to be wrapped around proteins that are referred to as histones. I like to use the analogy of sewing thread. If you have just sewing thread, just laid out there, you ball it up, put it in your pocket or something, it's going to get knotted, it's going to get bent, it's going to get frayed. But when you buy it at the store, they have it wrapped around a spindle of some sort. Why do they do that? Well, big ball, small spindle. They can package the string down much better on the spindle than they can in just a loose ball. Same with our DNA. We wrap it around histones. Wrap it once around a histone, and then another histone, and another, and another, and another, and you keep going. They refer to this as string of pearls, string of beads, depending upon the author of the textbook, because that's what it looks like. Strand of DNA, histone with DNA wrapped around it. Strand of DNA, histone with the DNA wrapped around it. It just keeps going and going and going. And then that chromatin, DNA wrapped around protein, will then start wrapping around itself, as you see the third picture. By wrapping around itself and then those wrapping more and more and more, starting to look like yarn. Go grab one of your sweaters that's made from yarn, and you look at the yarn. It's wrapped around, folded, knotted up, makes bigger and bigger and bigger, thicker cords. But if you start teasing it apart, you'll start to see it all starts with a very thin strand of thread. Those threads get wrapped around each other, form a thicker thread. Those threads wrap around, form a bundle. Those bundles wrap more and more, and before you know it, you have yarn. Same things you see here. Start off with the double helix at the top, and you work your way as you start wrapping around histones to get chromatin. The chromatin wrapping around itself more and more and more, and at the bottom you end up with that X-looking thing, the chromosome that we know and we see in pictures all the time. Here's a video link that will show you a little bit about the chromosome packaging. I'm not going to show it here because, hey, we're already at 9 minutes. So when it comes time for cell division, what we're going to see is that, well, the chromosomes first have to duplicate. You look to the far left there. The green chromosome, that green strand, that's the original. It could be chromosome 4 you got from mommy or chromosome 4 you got from daddy. Purple one is its homologous pair. If the green one's from mommy, purple one's from daddy. Both chromosome 4. Both have the same genes on them, just the nucleotide sequence will be slightly different. Before you can go and have the cell divide, you first have to make copies. So you see now to the right, 2 greens, 2 purples. the DNA has replicated. The cell has made a copy of all chromosomes. The two greens are referred to as sister chromatids. The two purples, sister chromatids. The purple and the green, homologous pairs. Homologous means similar, but not quite the same. Sister chromatids are nucleotide for nucleotide exact copies.